Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video, which I am super excited to create, and I hope that you'll enjoy, which is terrain, zone of control, and little nuances on the battlefield. This is the third part of a little mini-series that I'm doing. The first video was the football plays, where I strategically laid out how I approach different types of enemies, and the second one is building a roster for success. This series is kind of for new or intermediate players who are maybe getting to like mid-game and struggling with what are they doing, how can they improve, and it's things that you wouldn't necessarily see in a lot of other guides, specifically this one. I think there is a lot of things here that you just wouldn't hear. Like it's kind of like small tips or things that you'll maybe pick up in gameplay, or isn't worth saying a lot of the time, because players, they're focused on the game and maybe these moves aren't really worth pointing out. But I really like what I'm doing here, not to toot my own horn. So let's get right into it. So again, this is for kind of early or intermediate level of like players. So we are using Roll20. These are our tokens. I want everybody to know that the little shield icon here means they have a shield, and this guy flexing means that they have a two-handed weapon. Okay? And these are just tokens of bros I've picked in game. This is a bait character. Doesn't really mean much else. This is a Battleforged one-hander, nimble one-hander, nimble polearm, has polearm spec, nimble two-hander, and a tank. Doesn't really matter what the picture is. And then we have Battleforged two-hander here. So these pictures are kind of arbitrary as to what they are. Like, it's not like, oh, this is the gear they have specifically, but I have made these scenarios as if people have, one-handed or two-handed weapons. That's basically what I'm going for. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is surround bonuses and how to get more accuracy in the early game. So, let's say you want to kill this brigand right here. This is a pretty easy raider. He's kind of on the edge here. He doesn't have a lot of support. So how do you kill him? Do you go in first, like here, and then swing? And then go in here, and then swing? And then go in here, and then swing? No, because that doesn't maximize your surround bonus. So what you do instead, let me get them back to where they were, is you walk up on like the first dude here, and you pass your turn. And then you wait up here, and he goes. And then you wait here, and he goes. And then he attacks with two allies next to him. He attacks with two allies next to him. And he attacks with two allies next to him. Why is that important? For each ally that you have next to a target that you're surrounding, you gain plus 5% chance to hit. If you have the Backstabber perk, you gain plus 10% chance to hit. If the enemy has Underdog, you gain no chance to hit. And if the enemy has Underdog and you have Backstabber, it returns to the normal 5% chance to hit. Raiders do not have Underdog. These guys maybe don't have Backstabber. So let's say they don't. They have plus 5% chance to hit now. So because this guy waited for these two to go here, he now has a plus 10% extra chance to hit than he would have if they were in these positions right here. So it's incredibly... Ooh, I didn't mean to turn. It's incredibly important in the early game when you have like 52 melee attack and a sword to wait until you get your surround bonuses. And now if we want to hit this guy, probably should wait until we go here, because now we get the extra chance to hit from this dude, which is only 5%, but 5% still counts. And this polearm here, I believe it works for polearms as well, even including Backstabber, because you have the dudes surrounding them like this. Now, enemies with Backstabber can be kind of scary. Zombies are one example of this, especially in the early game when you have maybe 55 mail, 70 mail, 100 mail. You don't have a lot of armor. So 2 or 3 zombie hits can actually get down to your hit points. So this looks like it's somewhat decent position, right? Like, there's only 5 zombies, it's not bad. But let's say you wait in this position right here. This zombie will go here, this zombie goes here, this zombie goes here, this zombie goes here, and then we have one in the back line. Now, because there are 4 zombies all around him, they get plus 20% chance to hit, I believe, right? No, they get 30% chance to hit, pardon me. Because this guy has 10, 20, 30. Because each of them have backstabber. Well, he has backstabber, so then he gets 10 from each one of them, as opposed to the normal 5. If you have underdog, it returns to 5. But early game, you probably don't have underdog. So, getting surrounded by zombies is a really bad idea, because you will get hit in the early game when you have maybe 10 or 20 melee defense. So, but some people may want to get surrounded. If I could move them back. Let's move them here. Let's replace this guy with a tank, and then we could maybe put this dude up here. So this zombie goes here, this zombie goes here, this zombie goes here, this zombie goes here, and this one goes back here. Now this tank has a lot of melee defense, so he will not get hit. And let's put it like this. The fact that these two zombies are going to be trapped on this mammoth means that they're not surrounding the other guys here because they're stuck. This guy could still do it, but it'll take him a turn. So now this is a 1v1. You can kill this zombie. You can kill this zombie. This one goes here. You can kill this zombie. Then you move up and you kill these zombies. And you never had to worry about those two because they were stuck on the tank. One incredibly important thing to think about is think about never walking into concave enemies. This is what I mean right here. Let's say you want to kill this guy right here. Maybe he's just the most, he has the worst gear, he's already half health, or whatever you do. What you should never do is walk into this position right here. You know why? Because you're getting surrounded by 3 enemies. This is okay, like sometimes you can't avoid this. But 3 of them, even if you have allied support like this, means he's going to double attack you, he's going to double attack you, and he's probably going to like shield wall and attack you. Make himself harder to die, and then they'll try and kill this guy. And this brother, if you don't have rotate, even if you rotate like this, these 2 ways, can still be hit right here. If you have good enough gear, and you can neutralize this guy in about like maybe a hit or 2 and kill him, maybe that isn't the worst idea in the world. Because then you can move up like this, and then you can 2v1 him. But virtually always, you do not want to walk into concave enemies. What you would love it if enemies walked concave onto you. If a guy comes here, he's freaking dead, right? And he's just totally screwed. So you can kill him easiest. Because again, you have that surround bonus. Now, let's say you're this tank. How would I take this fight right here? So, who do I want to kill? Well, I want to get my surround bonuses. So I probably want to kill this guy, because he's in range of the 2-hander. So what I would do is I would move my tank in here. Tanks are people you actually can move into concave because they have the really high melee defense, so they won't get hit. They can shield wall. They could taunt to bring down other people's shield wall. They can indomitable. There's a lot of survivability skills that they have. So we go here. Then we walk in on the 2-hander. We may have to pass this guy's turn. Well, we walk in on the 2-hander here, and then he walks 1 tile, 2 tiles, and now we've got the concave on this guy right here, and then he will die. That was a pretty important move right there, is we let the 2-hander go first. If we walk here and attack once, the 2-hander is now stuck, or we have to rotate and we don't get the full surround bonus. So we wait, let the 2-hander go in first. I say wait because he's Battle Forge and he's nimble, and this 2-hander will go second. And then we can get the full surround here, kill this guy, go here, full surround, kill, go here, full surround, kill. That is how you would effectively take down those raiders. Alright, next, let's take a look at 2-handed enemies. 2-handed enemies are really scary, because they have 2-handed weapons, which are the most dangerous. But, assuming it's not a 2-handed cleaver, 2-handed enemies can only walk 1 tile and attack, same as your bros with 2-handed weapons. So, this dude, if you are in this row right here, you can be attacked, because this Y-hander can move up 1 and attack you. I guess this tile is safe. But if he can move 1 tile and attack you. So it's really these 3 tiles right here that I'm highlighting that are dangerous. So what do you do when you're fighting like this? Well, I would just wait. This Y-hander, what he might do is walk up 1 tile. and then he's going to bait you into walking up 2 tiles like this, and then he's going to smack the shit out of you. I would not do that. I would not give him a free swing by doing that. If he walks up like this, I don't know why you would, but you could. Then you could, you go here, you wait for the surround bonus here, and then you can attack him like that. So, but let's make it a little more interesting, because odds are it's not just one two-hander. Let's put a footman in front. This footman's got a shield. Now, what do you do here? Well, your two-hander can only move 1 in attack, so you still don't actually want to move up. But let's say you want to move this guy right here. You don't want to take this tile, because this tile can go 1 and he can still hit you. So this is a safe tile right here, going from here to here, because the Zweihander can't move 2 tiles and still hit you. He can go here, in which case then you can go here, and then you have to hope this guy doesn't die, or you put someone else right here to block the Zweihander. But the safe tile is here, here with the polearm, and then probably here. I would probably go like right here, and then bait the Zweihander into trying to AoE me, and then we can smack him with 3 of us, because again, he'll be in concavity. One incredibly important thing that I don't think people think about is movement in terms of your action points. You want to spend as many of your action points killing people as you can, and you don't want the enemy to use all of their action points to their best use. What does that look like in battle? So right here we have 2 shield raiders and 1 raider with no shield, but he doesn't have a two-handed weapon. In fact, let's just make this guy a two-hander, because my point is made either way. So this guy's a two-hander, this guy's a regular, and this guy's got a shield. So you want to get 2 attacks with these 2 guys here for 4 AP. 4 AP equals 8 out of your 9 AP. You have 1 left. And you want this guy to swing at all. So he can only move 1 and attack. So he cannot attack when the raiders are here, because he physically cannot move 2 tiles and still attack with his mace. These 2 can. So, okay, what do you think you do? Do you walk forward, wait, and then go forward for the surround bonus and then attack this guy? Maybe. That's not the worst idea in the world, but it's not the best idea. Because, let's look at this. You spent 4 AP moving, and then you attack. You spent 4 AP moving, and you attack. So you've each got 1 attack. Now let's look at this guy. This guy will shield wall and attack you. That's 8 AP. He will attack you twice. That's 8 AP. He will smack you. That's 6 AP. And he got his two-handed attack off. Granted, they may miss, but you may miss too. It's about maximizing your AP usage. You gave them 8 AP worth of offensive and defensive abilities. You gave yourself 4 AP per bro of offensive abilities. If you walked up and shield wall, it would be 0, but you'd have 4 defensive. So the better option is to let the enemies come to you. If the enemy, let's say you can taunt on this guy right here, or even if you don't, he comes up right here. He either can like attack once, or riposte, or do something weird. This guy comes up, he can either shield wall or attack you. He cannot do both, because he spent 4 of his AP moving forward. This guy, if he moves forward at all, he does not get any attacks. So, let's think about it this way. What you could do is you could, I would be wary of moving into this guy, but you could move up, move up, move up here, and then you could probably move 2, and then get on the tank, and then bait these 2, because again, their actions don't count as much on the tank, because they're not going to hit him. This guy may move forward here, and he'll go into concave, or he'll go here, and then he moves into concave. So this guy, his best move is actually to stand still. So he loses his turn, because he has to pass and then end. The two-hander moves up to about here. He doesn't get to attack, but he couldn't attack anyway. There's no way he could attack. Then, you move up here, attack, attack. You may not get your full surround, but nevertheless, this guy now dies. This guy's out of the question, and then you have 1 dude who can actually attack you. Now, what if you have a two-hander and you're 1 tile away? Now, you definitely could move up, and then, or have him move up, and then he either does 1 attack or 1 shield wall. And then you win, because you hit him. But sometimes he won't do that. Sometimes you just need to move forward. So you move forward, hit, he attacks, shield walls, or he double attacks. Now, did you really lose there? Not necessarily, because you did spend all of your possible AP doing what you needed to do. You had to move, but then you did attack. He also did that. So at least it's fair in terms of, like, AP used over total. Is, you used 8, he used 8. So you did as much as you could. It's not the ideal scenario. Ideally, he would come forward and lose one of his actions. But, when you get the attack, you get the attack. That might just be all that you need. This idea comes back in terrain like forests or snow or swamp, when the AP cost is more to move on any given tile. In forest, it costs 3 AP to move, and we're assuming that nobody here has Pathfinder. So, if you move 2, that's 3 AP, 6 AP. You cannot attack. So again, this seems like a really bad idea, doesn't it? Because you move here, you don't get any attacks, he can attack shield wall or double attack, and he gets to hit you. Now the two-hander, he wins out on these tiles, because he still can move 3 AP and attack for 6. He doesn't really use that 1 AP extra anyway. So the fact that he can still attack gives him a huge advantage on these tiles, because any sort of movement at all, like this, hurts the one-handed bro, but it doesn't hurt the two-handed bro. So what do you want to do here? Well, you really, really want to bait the enemies into coming into you. If he moves here, he can't do anything. Well, so what raiders will likely do is they'll move forward 1 and then hold their action. They will, he will just wait and see if you walk into him. He will probably shield wall here and end turn. Or maybe he'll probably shield wall here and end turn. So this way, at least he moved forward and he got his action. So then what you do is you probably move forward, you probably kill the two-hander, to be honest. So you walk up, smack, smack, hope he doesn't get a counter attack. If the enemies don't move forward, though, I would do the same thing that they just did. I would move forward, I would pass my turns, try and bait them into coming into me, and then I would kill this two-hander for the surround bonus and because he is more dangerous. Let's talk about elevation. Please excuse the really shitty drawings that I did. So, just to be clear here, this light gray is -1 elevation because the standard we're using is this medium gray elevation right here. You can kind of see it in the middle underneath all the tokens. And +1 elevation is the hill that's right here. So, how do you want to play this? So, things of note is that there is a -1 tile right here. So you can attack from this tile onto this tile, or from this tile onto this tile, but you have minus elevation. And why is elevation important? Well, in this game, if you have elevation, 1 elevation over an enemy, you have +10% chance to hit. And if they have elevation over you, you have -10% chance to hit. So you want to take high ground, and you don't want to be on low ground relative to your enemies. It should be noted that if you are 2 tiles different, you cannot hit anything with melee weapons. It must be a 1 tile elevation difference. So, I'm thinking, I do not want to be on this tile at all, because this is a two-hander, and if I give the two-hander a chance to hit me with increased chance to hit, I'm probably screwed. He might even be able to AoE me. If I taunt him here, he'd probably AoE and then like hit these 3 tiles, and he wouldn't hit me, and he would still hit me. Other thing I want to do is I probably don't want to stay here and that this shield guy, who has a shield and therefore is kind of tanky, take high ground on me, because that locks this dude right here and he will probably die. So instead, what you want to do is try and think about how to get the enemies on bad elevate, or at least neutral elevation. Okay, so how would I do this fight right here? So I would take my tank and I would move them into this position right here. Why would I do that? Well, I want to give my polearms a chance to hit. You could do here, the enemies likely won't walk into two-handed mace low ground. You could go like here and they could go here. But I want to be more aggressive than that. I think I have a better plan to do this and how to win this easier, which is move your tank up. So these two are now locked in melee. This enemy could still walk up here, but I don't think he'll do that. He may walk over here. In fact, what he'd probably do is walk over here, and then he'd try and bait you into coming in, and you can double high ground him. But So what you do now is this polearm can now hit right here. Next thing I would do is I would walk my two-handed mace up one tile right here. So now, to deal with this, we have not used any of the low ground. We keep pure elevation on anybody. If this shield guy comes up right here, because we stopped him from hitting us from high ground right here. If he comes up right here, what we do is we move this polearm up, and now we have a minus 10% chance to hit, because he was on low ground before. But we can do this. We could double hit this two-hander and kill him. Or we can get minus 10% elevation on the raider, and next turn we can move up and hit the raider again on pure elevation and deal with this fight, if this two-hander doesn't kill him already. Now, if this guy walks up here, what I would do is I would move the polearm here, and then we would probably kill here, move up, kill this raider, kill him, and then, we kill this raider, kill this raider. There's a lot of ways to do this, and none of them involve taking this low ground against these raiders, or this low ground right here. I would maybe consider doing this if this guy is super tanky, and I have taunt on this guy right here, and they don't have rotate. But with a couple of marksmen, that is something I would probably want to avoid. Now, elevation is virtually always a good thing, but I'm going to throw one caveat at you guys right now, and that is Orc Warriors. Because Orc Warriors push through your line. So let's say you want to take this tank and put him on this high ground right here. Ooh, now they definitely won't hit him because he already has good melee defense, and he now has plus 10% chance to not be hit from elevation. So I'll move my archer here behind him, and then I'll move my polearm here, or I'll not move my polearm here, and we'll stay like this. We'll go like this, sure. So maybe you kill this Orc Warrior, you 2v1 him. You could bring your polearm down and you can maybe kill this guy. This guy goes here. What he might do is he might push you back. What this dude does right here is if you don't have Indom up, he will push you and he will go towards elevation. He will aggressively go towards elevation. And then he'll be on your archer and your tank will be here. So I bring this up because the warrior AI actively looks for elevation. They will not go, they will just dance around bad elevation. Like, if there's low ground, if you're on high ground and they can't get to you and still attack, they will just kind of just faff around. They just run forward, backward, forward, backward. It's really strange how they do this. But warriors will actively seek out high ground. So what you should do instead is avoid it like the plague. Do not go near that high ground. Like, don't let the warrior just get the high ground, because they'll just run here anyway and then hope you run into them. So don't do that. Back to the forest. One thing you should think about is creating choke points. Choke points help you get a numbers advantage when you otherwise wouldn't really have one. There's an early video I made, I don't even know, like maybe half a year ago or more. It's called like how to win a 10 versus 26 fight and create numbers advantages, or something about like 10v26 brigands, I don't know. And in that fight, what I was talking about is if right here, like if a guy comes in here and here, there's about, I mean, I guess maybe it's 50-50 here, but we're creating a little numbers advantage, like a 3 versus 2 here, and we can win. And when the numbers get really extreme in larger fights, 10 versus 26, you can still create little numbers advantages and win your small fights, and that adds up to the big picture. So in these choke points, this is a forest, and you might see this as forest tiles right here. There's these little like wooded or rock choke points in between. How are you going to deal with this? So let's look at this bottom one right here. What tiles do we not want to take? Well, we don't want to take this tile. This is the worst tile you could possibly go on, because this Y-hander goes up, hits you. This guy goes up, hits you shield walls. He goes here, bill hooks. He goes here, bill hooks. He goes here, bill hooks. You just got 5v1'd. This dude is fucking screwed. Even as a tank, he's not going to be able to survive 3 bill hooks, and you can't kill the bill hooks because they're so far away from your other dudes. So that is a really bad idea. Now, what would be the best tile for you? The best tile would be here, because this Y-hander gets locked, or even this is the Y-hander right here. You have a bunch of pole arms. These guys can maybe go here, but they can't do a whole lot. and that would be an easy win for you. But that's probably not going to happen. So realistically, what it is you have to decide, is this tile worth taking? And if it's not, where do you go? Because if this tile sucks, and the enemies won't run into this tile, you have to just fall back. You could go to this choke point here, you could just fall back one tile, you know, just move everybody back a tile, like this possibly, and then let the enemies come in. That could work. It might not be ideal, but we have to decide if this tile that we're in right now is worth doing. So, okay, let's take a look at this. The Zweihander probably won't walk in. It will probably be the footman. And then you'll get a couple of bill hooks like right here. So what do? The Zweihander might come around over here. Let's say that happens. So what you do is you move. I probably would move these dudes here. Maybe go like this. Get some bill hooks and try and kill. I would try and kill their billman, but I would try and kill this footman. If this footman dies, then we can move a real attacker onto the billman. And the billmen are screwed. The billmen can't do anything then. So that would be the ideal scenario, is try and focus down with pole arms these dudes here in the choke points. That's why pole arms are so powerful, is because these choke points don't just become 1v1s. But okay, let's look at this other side over here. What do you do here? Again, we know we don't want to walk 2 tiles forward, because then enemies can shield wall and attack, and the billman can hit us. So we can move here, these guys walk up shield wall, billmen still hit us. Again, that's not the most ideal scenario. So let's back up again. If the enemies do this, what do you want to do? Well, you want to hope you go after them. I would probably taunt on the tank here, try and bring a footman forward, and now he's zone of controlled by this guy. You could move in here, maybe rotate these two, and that would be a plan. Other thing you could do is you could walk your tank forward up like 1 here, and then taunt this footman. Taunting this footman brings this footman in, so then this billman comes in here. So now, what you have is this dude's over here from the other fight. You can 3v1, or basically 4v1 this footman. And then all you have to do is taunt this one billman, because this guy's trapped on the tank, this guy's trapped on the tank. And it's things that hit the tank are never issues, basically, unless they're killing him. Because the tank just has such good sustain that he won't die. So this guy cannot hit anybody else. This footman can't hit anybody else. So kill this footman. Next is walk up and kill this billman. The billman dies. Then you can move forward. Probably go like this. And then I would kill the billman again. Or maybe kill the footman, because you can hit him with the polearm. And then you could just keep taunting whoever is a dangerous threat. So that is how I would deal with these choke points. Is I would try and use tanks to block the really bad positions. We put the tank up forward, and force enemies to either move around like the Zweihander or come in kind of piecemeal like this. Next, I want to take an example from the Can I Beat 22 Barbarians video that I just put out, probably last week as when this comes out. So right here, we have a couple of Chosen with 2-handers. These 2 guys have 2-handers. This guy's got a shield. This guy's here. It's kind of arbitrary what they have. But, so barbarians love to rotate each other, and they love to kind of move around. So what I did is I used this polearm right here to attack this Chosen right here. So he attacked him. And then I'm like, how many of them are zone of controlled? Well, this guy's zone of controlled. This guy's zone of controlled. This guy can move forward. Like, they can't move through multiple enemies and get around me. So they can move here. And there's more stuff on the bottom of the battlefield. So they're basically, he's like kind of locked into here. He's kind of locked into here. So, and this guy is kind of a threat, but he can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, he could do that, but he probably won't. He'll probably like to rotate and hit me. But this guy can go 1, 2, 3 and get on me right here. And I can't stop that. And why is that bad? Oh, well, it's just one dude, but then this guy rotates and hits him. So now you have a couple of 2-handers on this polearm. So what I did is I recognize this. I recognize he's going to try and go for my back line. So I hit, and I moved back 1 tile. Now, he still did this. This is the move the Barbarian made. He went 1, 2, 3, 4 with because he has Pathfinder. So he moved 4 tiles, could not attack me, and got right on this polearm because I saw he was going to do that. So now, this polearm can attack. This dude can go 2 tiles and attack right here. Or he can, I have a second one. Whoopsies. This guy can go here and attack, but this is a little intricate. I was afraid of this guy going 1, 2, 3, and then getting on here, and I don't like that. But point is watch your backline. A smarter move, if I was less confident in this guy's ability to tank things, is I would have actually moved him back to here. Because now this guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and he will walk up and he'll probably go like this, or he'll go like this and hit somebody and not be next to the tank. So you should definitely watch your backline. Raiders do this, Nomads do this, Barbarians do this. They want to get on your weak and squishy guys. They can see how, they can kind of tell how much melee defense you have. They can tell how much HP you have, and they will use that to their advantage. Alright, let's look at this scenario a little more bare bones and think about rotation specifically. The tank's job is to make sure other brothers don't die. Okay? Got it. So, this guy wants to make sure these chosen don't hit anybody. This guy is not a threat because he can only hit the tank. This guy could be taunted into hitting. This guy could be taunted. But they're kind of also at the mercy of this. But really, they're less dangerous because they're one-handed dudes. So, first thing you're going to think of is, okay, we're going to taunt this chosen right here. Good idea. Because what he could do is he could rotate and then hit here. And that's really bad. We don't want to see that. So, we'll do this. The only reason they're purple and green is to, let you know who's who. So, he could do that. So, let's say he does that. Let's say he's adrenaline, and he's done that. So, he could hit this. In the worst scenario, he could hit you. Then this Reaver goes, because the Reaver didn't adrenaline. The Reaver hits, and then he rotates here. Now this guy, on his turn, rotates and double hits you. So they're both going to hit you. See the problem here? Alright, alright. So what you have to do is you have to taunt this guy. Absolutely taunt him. I would also taunt the other chosen. Another thing that could happen is this dude moves, rotates. It's unlikely, and then he rotates and moves. It's an unlikely move. But when there's like probably a 20-25% chance that this guy gets double chosen hit. And that's probably going to fucking kill him. So what you want to do is taunt both of the chosen. Or what you have to do is you have to kill this guy. Which means you have to probably move up. Killing this guy means this chosen may move up. And then you have to taunt both of them anyway. Because now they're just going to rotate and like AoE you. But it's still good. Like what you could do is you could do this. Kill him, back up. And this chosen moves, gets zone of control locked, and then you don't have to worry about him. Try and create spaces where the guys can't rotate, because they can't rotate to here anymore once they're locked on. So just, really watch your double Barbarian rotates. Those are super scary. On the topic of rotate, let's talk about Footwork, its companion perk, where you can move out of zone of control for 3 AP to any adjacent tile. So this is a Goblin Skirmisher, this is one with a Jagged Pike, and these are 2 Ambushers. So what we're talking about here is not necessarily just Footwork, but scaring AI. So this guy right here, we don't want this dude to die. This guy's got a Skirmisher on him, he's got a Jagged Pike on him, and he's got 2 archers shooting at him. So option 1 is to taunt the Skirmisher right here. Yeah, and that works. But the Skirmisher would just stay there. What you should do is you should taunt him and move forward. And what does that do? What that does is it makes him attack, and the AI will Footwork back a tile. He might Footwork to like this tile, but he'll Footwork away, and then you can taunt again, and then Footwork him away like this. And now, the tank's on here, he's away from this dude who's a little more vulnerable. Similar thing you can do with archers is this guy cannot reach the archers. He's too far away. But going 1, 2, 3, 4 means the archers have to move. They do not want to get stuck in melee attack. So the archers will move 2, which means they lose one of their attacks. They can't do the aim shot. And now they're farther away, so they have a lower chance to hit. Let's take a look at another example. The Blade Dancer. Blade Dancer is a super scary enemy. And he can AoE you. So right now what he would do is he would go right here, and he would reap these 2 targets, and he would hit both of them. But what you do instead is you taunt him and move forward. And then you can move forward here and attack. So the reap can either hit the 3 outer targets, so we can either hit these 3 targets, or you can hit these 3 targets. But he can't hit both of the rows. You know what I mean? Oh, we can't delete that. Okay. So, when he's forced to taunt this tank, he cannot hit the nimble polearm. So what he'll do now is he'll footwork out to this tile. So now you taunt, move forward, attack. Then he'll probably, footwork back this way. And then you can do the same thing. You just chase him, and he'll never hit the polearm because he's always forced into here. And then he'll footwork, and then you can move, go like this, and you can never hit him. Next, I want to take a look at Nomads. Nomads are a really common fight now that Blazing Deserts has been out, and one of their favorite moves is to use Pocket Sand, where they will debuff your initiative and your damage by, I believe, 30% or 33%. This move costs them 3 AP, so a two-hander can attack you and then Pocket Sand you. They can move 3 tiles in Pocket Sand, or they can move 1 in Pocket Sand twice. And losing that much damage is incredibly annoying. And it's actually could probably lose you fights because you just can't kill people enough. Especially if someone has nimble or whatever, it just won't do enough. The other issue is if you have an initiative build and they debuff your initiative, now you're less effective. So, how do you counteract this? Battleforged tanks are the answer. Nimble tanks are the secondary answer. And initiative tanks are the third answer. I just say Battleforged because they already don't care about their initiative, so getting Pocket Sanded is the least worrisome for them. Debuffing damage on tanks already isn't an issue, because tanks aren't attacking, right? You don't attack on a tank. You taunt, indom, shield wall, zone of control, there's a lot of things you can do, and none of them are attacking. So minusing your damage does not matter. So, how would I play this fight right here? Well, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would go right here. And what this does is it forces these, this guy walks up, hits you. This guy goes here. They go here. Like, they probably won't do shit like this necessarily. But think about it. They've all been zone of controlled onto, and none of them pocket sand. They pocket sand the tanks, which we just don't care about, right? Like we've said, that does not matter. So I've explained this before. But bait the pocket sand with the people that aren't going to attack and don't care about their initiative that much. Even the initiative tank, it's probably better to get him pocket sanded than to lose 33 or 25, whatever the hell it is, damage on your actual dudes. So you move your other dudes up behind like this. So now you physically cannot move through. Like now you can move 3. I guess you could pocket sand 1 dude. You can move 1, 2, 3 and pocket sand. But then he gets totally blasted by about 4 dudes. You probably have pole arms behind. He's fucking screwed. So he will not do that. Or if he does, he'll die. So you just zone of control them with your tanks. And then, you can systematically go like this. Kill. He dies. You move forward. You kill this guy. Kill this guy. And then these dudes are just trapped and can't do anything. Finally, I want to do one more example with tanks. And that is baiting things with tanks. Serpents are really fucking scary. So what I would do is I would move my tanks forward like this. Try and bait them to get hit by serpents. Because if this dude here, this archer, gets hit, let's say he's like right here for whatever reason, gets hit by a serpent, he will get grabbed and go to like this position and then grabbed and go like back here. And you're not getting him. He will die. He will just die to serpents before that happens. So you get your tanks up. The serpents grab him. They grab him to this tile first. Then this one will grab him to like this tile. He'll be grabbed here, probably grabbed like here. So, but you don't care. This serpent moves up. So there's like 3 serpents here, 3 serpents here. Maybe this one goes like here or something. So you weaken the line of the regular serpents that move forward, and then the rest of your team could move up and then kill them. These serpents now aren't issues because they're zone controlled by the tank. So you really just kill this one, like this one for the surround bonus, this one for the surround bonus on this one on the surround bonus for these 2. And now your pole arms can move in. You probably shouldn't move like that far forward on your turn, but the point of this demonstration is to get your tanks brought back, and they will just tank all of the snakes. Second, let's take a look at a direwolf fight. Now these wolves will probably move in like this. This one might move in like here. Let's say move in here, 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 here. Just trying to move all the wolves. So, now, these wolves all have overwhelm, let's say. So, you don't want to lose... This is... If this guy gets 6 times hit, he has 60% overwhelm, so he loses 60% of his melee attack. So, he will miss fucking everything. So, who doesn't care about their chance to hit? Tanks! Thanks for saying it. So, move this guy up. You probably kill this guy right here. You probably kill this guy with the combination of pole arms or whatever. Then I would move this tank up, maybe like here or here, here. If you could move here, 1, 2, and then taunt this one. So this one goes here, this one goes here, this one goes here. So these 3 do not overwhelm anyone important. One of the wolves will go like here. These 3 don't do anything important. So now you have like 2 wolves that actually do damage. Yes, you did not stop all of the wolves, but you stopped 6 of the wolves from doing any sort of overwhelm. Blocking anybody with overwhelm, whether it be wolves or hyenas or mercenaries with your tanks, is incredibly important for keeping your team alive, especially when you have a numbers disadvantage, especially in the early game when you maybe don't have the armor to sustain like 9 hits from wolves from multiple turns. So use your tanks to block that, and then they won't hit you as much. With that final tip complete, I want to thank everybody for making it through this video. I think this is really cool, like a creative thing. I like using the Roll20. I thought that was nice. I like the football plays video as well. I think it was a really good outlet to explain these little nuances. I hope that you learned something, especially as a new or intermediate player. I think there's a lot of good tips here that you won't really find in a lot of other places. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on the Pogo Reborn Discord or in the comments here below. I am more than happy to answer anything that you may have, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.